Our social workers in Singapore will now be honoured for impactful practice and research tackling pressing social issues beyond individual contributions. Award-winning work spotlights programs that support dementia care, youth with prolonged social withdrawal, and insights into women's decisions after they leave abusive relationships. 5 social work teams, including Fei Yue Community Services and Renci Hospital, were recognised at this year's newly revamped Outstanding Social Work Awards. Awards have been updated after more than 25 years, with 2 new categories to honour collective groundwork and research that strengthens social work.
Our multidisciplinary teams demonstrate a collective capability for change. Together, they ensure that every intervention and partnership contributes to breaking cycles of disadvantage and opening pathways to opportunity. Such a teamwork-based approach is particularly crucial when working with vulnerable populations with complex needs.
At the event, social workers discussed emerging trends and challenges and shared ideas for the future. From April, enhanced grants will also support training and leadership development.
The fraternity needs to build on its strong foundation to address these relatively new realities and be an effective force of good. Therefore, I encourage all qualified social workers to step forward for your professional accreditation. This is a commitment to uphold competence, ethical standards, and the continuous professional development.
And Mr. Chan joins us right here in the studio. Chan Hui Ping, President of Simcoe Association of Social Workers, and Ms. Valencia Ng, Assistant Head and Senior Social Worker at Care Corner Singapore. You have won an award, Ms. Ng. Congratulations for that. Tell me about your research.
Yeah, so this research that we had, the research topic was really inspired by what we saw in practice, that is leaving the abusive relationship is not the end of the journey. Women often have to go on to embark on a very difficult rebuilding process. Yeah, so internationally, there has been studies talking about how women decide on whether to leave, to stay, or to return to the abusive relationship. But very little is actually done on what are the decision-making of women in the post-separation stage. Yeah, so,
is this specific to Singapore, or did you look?
Yes.
So it's
yes, yeah.
specifically in the
yes,
Singapore context.
Yeah. So we interviewed 11 women in Singapore who had been through either they have applied for the personal protection order, or they had applied for the divorce, to better understand what are some of the decision making that they had, when they are going through these processes.
All right. However good research is, it's only significant and relevant if it can be applied. How are you going to be putting your research ideas into practice? Yeah,
that's a very good question. So I think one of the findings that we found that is surprising for us is also just how much of the decision making that women have are actually invisible. Yeah, so on the surface, social workers always talk to clients about decisions like their housing, legal matters, and sometimes even financial. But beneath that, there's actually a great deal of fear, trauma, and sometimes like pressure from family and friends. Yeah, so what we did through this research is that we consolidated the finding into an iceberg model, to really illustrate just how much of the things that women are going through are actually invisible. Yeah, so by doing that, we really hope to make that invisible layer visible, so that professionals like us social workers.
Iceberg. So the tip is very small compared to everything that lies beneath the tip.
Yeah, so that we can. That's right. So that we can actually respond with more empathy and understanding towards them.
Right. Your organisation, Singapore Association of Social Workers. The base of your work, I suppose the value of your work, would lie in what individuals like Ms. Ng can contribute.
Right, exactly. So the Association of Social Workers basically is a representative body of social workers in Singapore. So the awards that we have recently revamped, in a way, is to create a platform to highlight the exemplary work done by professionals like Ms. Valencia Ng. So I think one of the things that we want to highlight is that research is very much part of the work of social workers. And the knowledge that we created through research, right, is used to inform our practice at the individual level between the worker and the clients that they help. By the system level as well, when we start to replicate the tools, the materials, and the training that we can derive from this new knowledge, right, we can then make social work practice more effective at the systems level.
In a way, and this applies beyond Singapore as well, work that she does, so as a social worker, it's hugely valuable. When you contribute, it is invaluable.
Right.
And the level of skill, expertise, and commitment needed may not match sometimes the salary that is on offer. And yet you need the very best to be in this line. So professional accreditation, that's one step. Mm-hmm. Anything else you can do?
I think salary definitely is important. And NCSS and the ministry, MSF, review the salary guidelines very frequently in the sense to keep pace with what is happening in the larger employment landscape in Singapore. But that's just one aspect. I think we have also worked hard in improving the professional development of social workers.
And actually, this is relevant to bring Ms. You are very, very young. You have done very well. But if you want to stay in this, what you heard there from the president of the Association of Social Workers, what he suggested, what would you be looking for to keep you motivated and committed to your current line of work?
Yeah. I think what has been suggested, like accreditation, is something that is really important because it gives me as a social worker a clearer idea of what is the professional standards. Yeah, and it also encourages continuous learning and also reminds us that we need to be to carry out ethical practice. Yeah, and importantly, I feel that that also brings us to show that our work is of quality practice towards our clients and our employers. Yeah, and I think that really helps in knowing that there is a backing, that there's professional identity within this work that we do.
The problem is, I think, the work you do, the benchmarks for recognition are often intangible.
Yeah.
What are your hopes going forward? What can you do practically, bearing in mind all the constraints, to make sure that as a sector you attract the best that you can and keep them in this line of work? First yourself and then Ms. Ng.
I think the nature of the work itself is very compelling. The purpose, I think, draws especially young people to want to join us.
Yeah, but do they stay? That's
right. I think you have touched on a very important point, which is after they have entered the sector, what can we do to help them stay and prolong their career? And that's where we have to strengthen at the organization level, help our social service agencies to have better HR practices, and also ways to help to, for example, rotate the kind of jobs that our social workers are placed in so that they have a change of jobs every few years, so that they do not engage in the same type of work for a prolonged period. I think that's just one aspect of that. Increasingly, we need to also continue to strengthen the professional identity of social workers, have more training courses, professional development for social workers, and that itself is important. They need to feel there's progression as they continue to be in this line of work. So I think we have to work on a multi-pronged approach besides salary.
All right, Ms. Ng, final question to you.
Yeah.
You've won this, so you feel buoyed up for now. What would you need to see, say, in 5 years, in 10 years, to keep you committed to this job? Final question is yours.
Yeah. So I think it's important that as a sector, we support both the clients and also the practitioners. Yeah, and that for clients, that as social workers, a lot of us, we go in because we want to help clients. So it's important that we see that the sector has coordinated, accessible, responsive services for our clients and also for practitioners, that we continue to invest in our learning, in supervision, and also having this shared reflective space, because I believe that when social workers are well supported, the clients will also be better supported. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for coming in this evening, both of you, to speak to us. Ms. Valencia, and congratulations as well on your award. Assistant Head and Senior Social Worker at Care Corner Singapore, and Mr. Chan Hui Ping, President of the Singapore Association of Social Workers.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.